A letter sent to Grand Rapids parents today after two tragedies affecting two young lives. Both happened just blocks apart in Grand Rapids Wednesday afternoon. The first, a train dragging and killing a teen trying to cut between rail cars at Eastern and Cottage Grove just before 4 o'clock in the afternoon. The second, an 8-year-old, hit and critically injured after stepping out in front of a vehicle on Kalamazoo just south of Hall Street 3.5 hours later. 24-Hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey has more now on how that neighborhood is dealing with these two tragedies. Joe?
Yeah, Brian, I'm on the 1200 block of Kalamazoo, and right behind me is where one of those incidents, one about 7:30 last night, occurred. Now, where that victim went to school, one of the elementary schools here in town, the officials there sat the kids down today and talked to them about what happened in both cases and went over tips with them on how to stay safe. They also sent that letter home to parents, telling them the same kind of information, but one parent we talked to says he doesn't need a letter home from school to talk to his kids about safety.
The thing that keeps reminding me is that the little boy just looked me in my face, you know, right before this, and asked me whether or not he could go back there and play with my kids.
Des Chambers had been sitting in the front of his store early last night, his children at the back of the store playing video games. The 8-year-old played and then left. Moments after he walked out of the store, Chambers heard the tragedy unfold just down the street.
And me and a friend was sitting there playing dominoes, and we heard a bang sound. We didn't jump right away because we thought it sounded more like a trash can. And we heard a screaming of a lady's voice. So we walked out, looked down the street, and realized somebody screaming. It's a little boy.
8-year-old Malik Levet was critically injured when police say he ran out in front of a vehicle driven by a 51-year-old Grand Rapids man.
And they moved him to where you see the sheet was.
Neither speed nor alcohol were involved. 3.5 hours earlier and just blocks away, another tragedy. 14-year-old Darian Curtis Edwards was killed while trying to cut between two train cars at this Eastern Avenue crossing. Witnesses say the train was stopped but began moving about the time Edwards got in between the cars. Edwards died a short time later.
This is a sad reminder. The train track and this. But just another hurtful thing. You know, seeing I had just watched the news and saw what just happened with the 14-year-old, and then this.
For Des Chambers, who lost a young son to heart failure back in the late 1990s, the two tragedies were painful reminders of two important lessons. One about appreciation.
Every day is an important day, and you don't know whether or not that day is going to be that last day.
And another about reminding your kids about safety every day.
It's like telling them you love them. I don't wait till when they get sick, laying up in the hospital, whatever the case may be, didn't want to tell them this. I tell them I love them now while I can, while everything is good.
And counselors were brought into Malik's school as well, the Martin Luther King Jr. Academy, to talk to the kids and try to help them through any stress they might be suffering because of this incident. And if you want to see those letters that were sent home to parents, we have those at woodtv.com. Back to you.
Thank you, Joe.